Hello there, welcome back to the YouTube channel. As I've promised for the last 2 days, kicking off Bloom today, and I put a poll up last week on the YouTube channel and people voted, and Flubs the Fool, when I last checked it, came out as the one everybody wanted to see me cover to start with. So a couple of things I'm going to say. Flubs is here. I'll explain about Flubs in a minute. But these are starting points for the decks. There aren't any other Bloom cards in here, so you may want to take some of these out at some stage once Bloom is fully spoiled. I'm doing this a bit in advance. And yeah, you may just want to change some of the cards around when you find something in the set that's more useful. I don't know what I was going to say then, so I'm sorry for the ramble. But anyway, Flubs the Fool, green, blue and red for a 0/5 legendary creature frog scout. And I think there's a few more frogs that may fit in the deck eventually. But you may play an additional land on each of your turns, and whenever you play a land or cast a spell, draw a card if you have no cards in hand. Otherwise, discard a card. Yeah, Flubs is awkward. Because there are ways you like drawing through your deck. I completely understand that. And getting extra cards is nice, but you've got to have an empty hand. You don't, it's a blue deck. Do you want an empty hand? However, the speed at which you can play cards with Flubs, with the additional land drops and the other cards in the deck that help you with that, means you can probably get through it really quickly. So, yeah, we'll see. Anyway, this is going to be my starting point for Flubs the Fool once the set eventually hits MTGO. Obviously, I'm recording this before I go on holiday, so I'm missing the pre-release, so sorry about that. So hopefully, one thing I will say, if you're trying to pick Flubs up in real life, it is the buy a box promo, just so you're aware, so it's going to be a little bit tricky to pick up unless you're one of those people who goes out and buy boxes. I can't remember the last time I bought a box, but I'm very tempted to buy a box of Bloom just to get Flubs. But anyway, enough about me. This is what the deck looks like. Before we go any further, it's very expensive to build this deck in real life. You can probably work out why by the 2 pictures that are here, so you can drop these out. It takes the cost down considerably on the tabletop and on Magic Online, but just bear that in mind. So, Flubs, lots of extra land drops. So, need a little bit of ramp, so we've got Birds of Paradise. Bristling Bill makes an appearance, like you probably will do in most of my green decks going forward, just for the +1/+1 counters. Containment Construct's a nice one, because whenever you discard a card, which you might be doing with Flubs, you may exile it from your graveyard. If you do, you may play that card this turn. Now, notice it's a May ability, you don't have to exile the card, so bear that in mind when you're playing the deck. Dockside, mana ramp, sorry. The Archomancer's here to cut all the costs out of our red and green spells, of which we have many. In it, Essential of the Sun helps us do the whole let's discard cards and get the +1/+1 counters and gives us a way of playing things. Lotus Cobra for the landfall triggers. Azusa to give us more land drops, along with Course with the Crufix so we can get lands off the top of our library and gain some life. Eruth, Tormented Prophet. If you would draw a card, exile the top 2 cards of your library instead, you may play those cards this turn instead. It's quite nice. A little bit tricky to play around, but it does do things for you that are helpful. Eternal Witness and Evolution Witness, and the other one, which I can't remember the name of, but we'll get to, help us return things from our graveyard. Fouldawn, Dread Wolf Held, gives us a benefit for playing cards from exile that we may have put there because of Eruth, for example. Loot, the key to everything. Yeah, you got to have loot in, haven't you? At the beginning of your upkeep, exile the top X cards to your library, where X is the number of card types amongst other non-land permanents you control. You may play those cards this turn. We like loot. Loot's fun, and it's quite a cute picture still, whichever way you look at it. Nissa's here as well to give us a bit more mana when we drop lands. Ruminant Excavator lets us play lands that we've discarded from our graveyard if we need to. Tireless Tracker gives us clue tokens. Uro, Titan of Nature's Wrath, life gain and a bit of an extra land drop and card draw. Wayward Sawtooth should be fairly easy to get the City's Blessing with this deck as it stands, so we can start attacking. Anger we want to get in the graveyard. Don't care how we do it, we want to get Anger there so we can attack with our creatures. Minna and then Wildborn are also here. Extra land drops, return target land you control to its hand, and then target creature gains trample to the end of turn. Oracle Muldai lets us play lands off top of our library. And Savvy Trader coming in from the Outlaws of Thunder Junction, if I remember correctly. Enters the battlefield, exile target permanent card from your graveyard. If you play that card as long as it remains exiled. And spells you cast from anywhere else apart from your hand cost 1 less to cast. Pretty good in this deck. Timeless Witness was the other one I was trying to think of. There you go, it's here. We get to eternalise and have a 4/4 if we need it. Green Sleeves benefits from the land drops to give us some badges to attack with. Perennial Behemoth lets us play the land cards from our graveyard, and we can do the unearth as we need to. Tatovia Benethic Druid combos really nicely with Flubs, because you play the land, stack the triggers right, discard a card or draw a card if you've got no cards in your hand, then you get a life and draw another card with Tatovia. Same with ASE, Tyrant of the Gaia Strait. That's also in for that reason. Ancient Green Warden lets us do our lands from our graveyard and any triggers we've got. So useful. And then some very traditional landfall creatures. Rampaging Baloth, Avenger of Zendikar. And finally, a Regal Behemoth, because I wanted a way of becoming the Monarch and I thought this would be the fun one. Plus it lets us double up our land as long as we're tapped as the Monarch. So, you know, good fun. Spell-wise, cheap spells, nothing too serious, but Cyclonic Rift to control the board, Explore, Growth Spiral gives us card draws and land drops, Heroic Intervention keeps everything alive, Mana Drain gives us a little bit of counter protection, Nature's Law, 3 visits ramp, Chaos Warp deals with an annoying permanent, Cultivate gets us basics, Day's Undoing shuffles everything back from our graveyard into our library and we draw 7 and then we get to end the turn, so yeah, second main phase card. Jessica's A Will is also here. Red mana and exiling the top 3 when we get Flubs in play is really good fun. Saw It Coming I've included. This is becoming more and more important, I think, in Commander decks, just so we can foretell it and then cast it when we need to at some stage. If you want to drop the cost of paper, get rid of the Time Twister, because I think it's around $7,000 at the moment, so it cuts the price down of this deck significantly. Alongside Wheel of Fortune, another way of discarding our hand, drawing 7 new ones, at $327. You take that off the price at the top, and you get a deck that's a lot more reasonably priced to play in real life. However, since I mainly play Commander these days on MTGO, they're not too bad at 5 tickets and under a ticket for the Wheel of Fortune. Blasphemous Act gives us more board control, and then Commit to Memory, another way of getting rid of, countering a target spell, put it on second from the top, or doing the Aftermath and shuffling everything from our library back in and exiling this. A few artifacts to help us out. Elixir of Immortality, another way to shuffle everything back in if it goes pear-shaped. Soul Ring gives a bit of ramp alongside Arcane Signet, because we are playing green and we have got the other ways of doing it. Crucible of Worlds, more ways of playing our lands from our graveyard. And Ether Flux Reservoir. Now, I'm thinking about this at the moment, and I am thinking Ensnaring Bridge probably needs to be in the deck, possibly over Time Twister or Wheel of Fortune, purely because if you can keep your cards at 0, nothing can attack, or your hand size, sorry, at 0, nothing can attack you, and you should be able to cast cards and build up that life gain quite rapidly with this to win the game with Ether Flux Reservoir. So it may be that a change will happen when you see me play this on stream when I'm back from my holiday. Enchantment wise, Exploration for extra land drops, Ominous Seas to benefit from all the card draw we're hopefully going to be doing with Flubs and the other cards. Retreat to Coral Helm lets us untap or tap creatures or do a bit of scrying. Retreat to Kadzu gives us the life gain we probably need and maybe a way of pumping up our creatures, especially if we can pump up Flubs so we can get in some damage with our commander. Not the worst plan in the world. Retreat to Valakut is another way of making sure we get benefits from our landfalls, especially if we can make creatures if we can give the creatures they can't block this turn ability, so we can get in for a bit of an alpha strike. Rhystic Study, yeah, it's a way of drawing cards if we've gone empty-handed. Yes, it's counterintuitive with Ensnaring Bridge if that gets added in, but at the moment it's here. Rites of Flourishing, the extra card draw on the land drop, that's fine because we'll be discarding. That gives us a way of discarding those extra cards when we make the land drops. Valakut Exploration, whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, exile the top card, you may play it for as long as it remains exiled, and at the beginning of your end step, if there are cards exiled, put them in the damage, put them into the graveyard, and then Valakut Exploration deals that much damage to each opponent. Now, I have had Valakut playtesting this deck go off for 12. It is possible. It's hard, but it is possible. That's the best I've done so far. Usually it averages around about 4 or 5 a turn once Flubs is fully online and you're drawing the stuff. One of the big things that does help with Flubs is Song of Creation, going back to Ikoria. An additional land drop, you cast a spell, you draw 2 cards. always got something to cast, and at the beginning of your end step you discard your hand, so you're always going to be empty handed, which is why I'm still thinking Ensnaring Bridge probably does need to be in the deck. Yes, it really does, actually, thinking about it. Anyway, Future Sight, just play with the top cards off our library. That's fine. Zendikar's Royal gives us some elemental blockers when we make all the land drops. And then one with the Multiverse. I was tossing up between this and Omniscience, and I went with one with the Multiverse just for a change. But if you want to play Omniscience, you can go here. It's just a little bit harder to cast, whereas 8 mana instead of 10 mana is a little bit easier to achieve for this deck. Bit shy on lands, I've only got 34, but we have got enough ramp, I think, in the deck to cover it. All the blue, green and red lands you can think of are here. 3 forests, 3 islands, 3 mountains. I didn't go too far. Yes, I am playing Reliquary Tower. Yes, I know it's against what I've just been saying, but it's still here. It may help, especially if someone plays Cyclonic Rift at some stage. So, yeah, against you, it's fine. Sack lands are all in, so a little bit pricey in places. You know, Scalding Tarns here. Training Centre is also a little bit pricey still at the moment. But that's it. This is my very early take on Flubs, the Fool. I'm sure at some stage that I will be upgrading the deck and changing it around once I've played it on stream a few times. Please, streams down below. Come and give me a follow on Twitch. Hopefully you've hit the subscribe button here, by the way, as well. So please do that if you can. But I am looking forward to playing Flubs. I think it's going to be one of the more fun commanders coming from the new set of Bloomburrow. So I hope you've enjoyed the video today. Let me know in the comments down below if you think there's anything I've missed that should be here. I will look at it, and when I get back from my holiday, I will change things around. But watch out for tomorrow's deck. Tomorrow, which is another Bloomburrow one. See you tomorrow. Take care. Bye.